ονειρεύεστε σε λίγες μόλις ημέρες. Τηλεφωνήστε τώρα! Ένα ακόμη ποιοτικό προϊόν από την Muscle ΑΕ. Έχετε αυξημένο βάρος, περιττό λίπος και πλαδαρή κοιλιά? Τώρα η Muscle ΑΕ έρχεται για μία ακόμη επίπεδη κοιλιά σε λίγες μόλις ημέρες. Είναι πολύ εύκολο στη χρήση του. Απλά κολλήστε το στην κοιλιακή περιοχή και είστε έτοιμοι. Είναι πολύ διακριτικό. Φορέστε το κάτω από τα ρούχα σας και αφήστε το να δράσει. Γρήγορα και αποτελεσματικά. Χρησιμοποιήστε το ανά 2 ημέρες για 4 με 6 ώρες. Η φόρμουλά του αποτελείται από φυτικά συστατικά και βότανα. Δεν έχει παρενέργειες, ενώ η συσκευασία που σας προσφέρουμε περιλαμβάνει 5 έμπλαστρα για άνδρες και γυναίκες. Φορέστε το χαλαρό έμπλαστρα για άνδρες και γυναίκες. Φορέστε το, χαλαρώστε, ξεκουραστείτε και αποκτήστε την κοιλιά των ονείρων σας. Τα φυτικά συστατικά του, όπως οι ισοφλαβόνες, από φυτική σόγια, η καφεΐνη, η κατεχίνη, βοηθούν στην επίτευξη του αποτελέσματος. Τηλεφωνήστε στον αριθμό που βλέπετε στην οθόνη σας και αποκτήστε τα καταπληκτικά αυτά.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told G7 leaders during a virtual meeting on Monday that he wants the war in Ukraine to end by the end of 2022. The European Union's 27 energy ministers aim to formalize a tentative deal on the bloc's energy efficiency directive at their meeting on Monday, opening the door to the first ever legally binding target to increase energy savings in Europe. The Holy Temple of Hagia Sophia in Constantinople, protected by UNESCO, has taken yet another destructive blow. The temple's floor, made of marble, has been shattered to pieces due to a heavyweight platform on site. Police arrested 2 men aged 24 for beating up to death a 42-year-old man at a nightclub in Rafina on Saturday night. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told G7 leaders during a virtual meeting on Monday that he wants the war in Ukraine to end by the end of 2022, according to a source familiar with his remarks, as leaders work to starve Russia of its oil revenues and mitigate the economic fallout of the conflict. While largely united, the leaders are all facing their own political imperatives to see a momentum shift in the fighting and bring an end to the conflict quickly. Leaders were nearing an agreement to try capping the price of Russian oil, depriving the country of revenues that have soared amid the global spike in energy prices. Details were still being ironed out, including whether the top buyers of Russian oil would agree to the limits, but US officials sounded confident in the prospects of the plan. As the war in Ukraine grinds ahead, the question of how to end the conflict has loomed over the talks. Zelensky's timeframe, delivered via video conference during a morning session at the Schloss Elmau Castle, was as clear a sign as he was given about where he sees the trajectory of the war headed. A top advisor to the President Joe Biden said Zelensky was focused on regaining momentum in Ukraine over the coming months and not years when he spoke to leaders. Coming up next, people 30 to 59 years old who wish to get a second booster shot will be able to book an appointment online as of today, following strong recommendations of the National Vaccinations Committee. The EU's 27 energy ministers aim to formalize a tentative deal on the bloc's energy efficiency directive at their meeting on Monday, opening the door to the first ever legally binding target to increase energy savings in Europe. Ministers meet in Luxembourg on Monday and Tuesday to finalize as much of the EU's climate package as possible, including laws on renewable energy, energy efficiency, carbon pricing, and land use and forestry. The Energy Efficiency Directive is set to include a binding target for increasing energy efficiency and a mechanism drawn up by the European Commission and the French presidency to ensure the EU stays on track to reach it. The exact target figure will be decided during negotiations with the European Parliament, though it is almost certain that it will not drop below the 9% originally proposed by the European Commission for the year 2030. The provisional deal reached on Wednesday, June 22nd, sets a target for primary energy consumption, though this will be indicative and therefore not legally binding on EU member states. One of the goals of the deal was the separate target to renovate 3% of buildings occupied by public bodies every year. However, the possibility of this being realized is slim. Under the tentative deal reached on Wednesday, this requirement would exclude social housing and reintroduce a softer alternative approach to achieve this obligation. Turkish presidency spokesperson Ibrahim Kalin repeated his claims that Greece is illegally arming its islands ahead of the upcoming NATO summit meeting on 29 and 30th of June. Kalin said that Turkey is aiming to raise the issue in the summit based on the Lausanne and the Paris Treaty. Turkish spokesperson noted that had Ankara not signed the bilateral accord with Libya, his country would not have had such an extended marine zone. Athens, however, is preparing its diplomatic response to contradict any Turkish claims in the NATO summit meeting. Greece has already exposed the unfounded Turkish claims in the international bodies. More on the program. The Holy Temple of Hagia Sophia in Constantinople, protected by UNESCO, has taken yet another destructive blow. The temple's floor, made of marble, has been shattered to pieces due to a heavyweight platform on site. People 30 to 59 years old who wish to get a second booster shot will be able to book an appointment online as of today, following strong recommendations of the National Vaccinations Committee. However, the Committee on Daily Media Briefing said that there is no adequate scientific data for an additional gain the booster shot may offer to those who will opt to receive it. Many scientists question the decision of the committee to make recommendations for an additional vaccine shot, which caused further confusion. Health Minister Thanos Plevris did not rule out further COVID preventions in the fall, should there be any pressure exerted on the national health system. Plevris, however, noted that any measures that may be put in place will be limited to certain groups of people. Police arrested two men aged 24 for beating up to death a 42-year-old man at a nightclub in Rafina on Saturday night. The arrestees, charged with manslaughter, admitted beating up the man, though they said that they did not intend to kill him. The defendants claimed that the victim pushed one of them whilst in the toilets, which resulted in a quarrel. The two young men left the nightclub and ambushed the victim, beating him to death. Police identified the car that the actors of the deadly beating used to leave the crime scene. The defendants have no previous criminal record. The Holy Temple of Hagia Sophia in Constantinople, protected by UNESCO, has taken yet another destructive blow. The temple's floor, made of marble, has been shattered to pieces due to a heavy-weight platform on site. Temple of Hagia Sophia has suffered a major damage on the Emperor's Gate in April, whereas pictures illustrated women removing parts of the temple's frescoes as souvenirs. Hagia Sophia, previously a museum, has been converted into a mosque despite objections from the world community. The Greek section of the non-government organization Doctors Without Frontiers has been granted the European Citizen Award by the European Parliament in recognition of its response to the human crisis caused by the Russian invasion in Ukraine. Doctors Without Frontiers of Greece were the only winners from Greece. Members of the NGO are the only ones present at the time in the Romanian borders, providing first aid services and information to the refugees. Doctors Without Frontiers have already delivered more than 70 tons in human aid. Two 15-year-old boys were admitted in hospital on Sunday evening, one bearing knife injuries on his leg and the other one with head injuries after a mob fight in Athens. 5 out of the 7 youngsters involved in the fight were arrested following complaints from bystanders. That's all from us for now. Next news bulletin in Greek at 6 o'clock. Thank you for watching.